Hello, I'm Uranus, and I'd like to talk to you about something I feel very passionate about. Voice acting. I have been voicing for mods and machinima for a few years now, and I've proudly stood among some of the best actors out there. But that wasn't always the case. I too was once a shrub with a headset and very little else. I really had no idea how difficult and time-consuming it really was. Luckily, I had a lot of experienced voice actors to help me along the way, and I'd like to share the experience they gave me with you. As I've browsed the various related forums, I've noticed more and more people trying to get into voice acting with no real clue what is involved. Well, I'm here to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a lot more than just speaking into a microphone. I've had people message me, asking me various questions about voice acting, and it's difficult to answer all of them. So I've decided to make this series an attempt to answer them. I'm making this to help aspiring voice actors on the path to being accomplished, well-known voices among their communities, and perhaps even teaching already well-known actors something they didn't already know. Before I get this show on the road, I would like to mention that I am in no way an expert on the subject. I've never been to school for this, nor have I ever attended any acting classes. But experience itself can move mountains. So sit back, relax, and listen to the voice actor's tutorial. Before I get into any of the technical parts of voice acting, I'd first like to talk to you about the it factor. I can already hear you out there now. I hear you saying, "What kind of elitist horse monkey is this?" At least one of you is saying that, I know. Well, slow down. This isn't Abercrombie and Fitch. Let me explain. The it factor is more of an enigma, really. Its definition varies depending on who you ask. Some say it means that not everyone has that sort of voice for acting, but I don't believe that. I don't think that someone is incapable of being a good voice actor just because their voice isn't considered sexy. The it factor, as it was explained to me, refers to your ability to personify a character while you just sit at your station speaking into a microphone with little to no direction. Basically, it's your ability to emote without actually being a part of the action. Actors in cinema and television can portray characters through movement and body language, as well as through facial expressions and emotion. A voice actor, however, is significantly limited on their ability to portray their emotions through their voice. And sometimes, this can prove difficult. And finding that emotion can be a frustrating process. And unfortunately, not everyone has that it factor. But don't give up just yet. There are a lot of ways of obtaining the mindset you need to be a good voice actor, and that's what we're going to talk about today. In this episode, we're getting you into character by teaching you different techniques to get you in the state of mind you need in order to give your lines the emotion and passion they need. Let's get started. Firstly, and most importantly, stay calm, cool, and collected. Distractions can throw you off your game. Keep your mind focused on the task at hand. It's a good idea to turn your phone, television, or any other device that can distract you off. Keep calm. Stress will affect your performance more than you think. Try drinking lavender tea or practicing a little meditation before voicing. And as for cool, well, that's meant to be taken both figuratively and literally. Don't get hot. Some voice actors go to extreme lengths to soundproof their stations. That includes completely insulating their recording rooms and turning off any fans or air conditioning units. If you're sweating like a politician in court, take a break. You're not going to be a good voice actor if you're having a heat stroke. Try standing while you voice. Standing up while voicing is a good technique to help you feel like you're in the action of your character. You'll be able to move your legs as well as your arms. Unfortunately, positioning your microphone to do this can prove difficult, and you cannot be too far from your mic when you're voicing. In some places I've recorded, I was able to place my mic at an elevated position so I could stand, but in other places, it was near impossible. So I won't go any further into this step, but if you can find a way to stand while you're acting, I recommend you do it. This might sound strange to some, but even the light in the room can have an effect on your neurological system. If you go to yourbrainatwork.org, it has an article going into further detail on the effects lighting can have on your emotions. While everyone is different, I find working in the dark allows me to get into character much easier. Less light might not be for you, however. More light might be. Try testing different levels of lighting as you record, and find out which works best for you. It's important to have contact with the writer. You should be able to ask them any part of the story that pertains to your character that aren't fully clear to you. In my experience, some writers don't even bother to tell you which way is up half the time. Nothing short of just giving you your lines without any context to them. You are essentially the character. You need to know everything the character knows and what they're going to do. Knowing this information will help you get into the mindset of the character. You should know everything about the character you're playing. You should have a firm grasp on their motivations and why they have their personality. Sometimes writers neglect to add backstory or personality traits. If this is the case, you have full right to make one up yourself. Knowing the character helps you feel connected with them. Even more so if you're the one making it up. You may just personify a little of yourself into them. Empathy is key to feeling emotions other than your own. Empathy is the understanding and awareness of another's thoughts, feelings, and experiences. If you are an empathetic person, try exposing yourself with something that correlates with how your character should feel. If your character is supposed to feel sad, try listening to a sad story or reading a sad novel. But say you have the empathy of a honey badger. Well, not a problem. I have you covered too. Performance artists practice a technique called method acting. Created by actor Lee Strasberg, method acting is the technique in which an actor recalls emotions and reactions from his or her own life and uses them to identify with the character. If your character is angry, imagine an event in your life when you felt that emotion. If your character is happy, think back to your first kiss. Well, your first enjoyable one. Do you know the etymology of the word music? It is a Greek word that means art of the muses. In Greek mythology, muses were the daughters of Mnemosyne, the goddess of memory, and Zeus. They were the embodiment of art, science, and inspiration. Music has a way of forcing emotion out of us. It's a useful tool for expressing ourselves to each other. If you find it difficult to bring out the feelings in your lines, put on your favorite album and find your emotions in the rhythm. Music is also a useful tool for inspiration, but that's a subject for another time. Lastly, it is imperative that you are in tune with yourself and your own emotions. I sincerely doubt Dexter would be a very good voice actor. Sorry, buddy. Find some time to do some soul searching, do a little meditation, and find out who you are before you try to act as someone else. That concludes this video, but I haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the techniques that you can use. These are simply the techniques that I have used myself. But this is just the tip of the iceberg, and and I encourage you to find your own techniques as you gain more experience. For the next part of the series, we'll be going into the technical side of voice acting, where we'll be getting into the subject of microphones, programs, and the environment you'll need for quality recording. Like and favorite this if you found the video helpful. If you didn't, well, I at least hope you found some entertainment value out of it. Thank you for watching. I've been Uranus. Get your voice out there.